Bhakti, devotion to Acharya. Guru is superior to God and Guru Bhakti is greater than Ishvara Bhakti. For every man, the Guru is above the God himself. What is the reason behind this statement? No one has seen God. But if we are blessed enough to see a person with our own eyes, a person who is always pure and full with wisdom, that is jnana, one who is endowed with the steady mind, nischala chinta, one who is without any blemish of character and chastity, then we need nothing greater in this world. Our mind attains the mental peace and equanimity for which we are going from pillar to post when we get to such a person who is fit enough to be a guru. That is why a guru is equated in all respects to the Paramatman or the Supreme God. It is said, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnuhu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This verse is unique in this respect that it teaches that there is no difference between the Guru and Parabrahman. In this verse, Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu are referred to. By this, we get to know that there is no Bheda Bhava, difference between Shiva and Vishnu. And it is therefore the fittest prayer that we can make to the Almighty, so that we will realize the basic unity and oneness between Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. The Lord has the responsibilities of creating and protecting the world and also all his other creations. But the Guru has no such responsibilities to him. The one has an office, the other is without an office. It will be easier for us to approach a non-official than an official. We can get all we want or wish from the one who has no official responsibilities. The Guru is easily available and accessible to us, and if we hold on to his foot, we can have all the things that we hope for to attain from God, who is not before our very eyes. What all blessings and benefits we can get from God, those can be achieved through the devotion to our Guru. That is why Guru Bhakti is said to be greater and more valuable than our devotion to God. The Guru is a visible God. At the same time, we cannot and shall not forget God, because only by God's grace we have come to reach such a Supreme Guru. How can one get a Supreme Guru without the God's grace and blessings? A man gets 3 great blessings in this Janma through God's grace. They are 1. This birth as a man, 2. The desire to seek the Satya, and 3. Attaining a great soul as our Guru. Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada says this at the beginning of the Viveka Chudamani. Therefore, God is the Supreme Guru to all and at all times. That Guru is Lord Dakshinamurti. Lord Dakshinamurti is the Guru of all the Gurus. If we go on tracing back, we will come to know God should have been the Adi Guru and could have given the Purna Jnana to one particular Guru, and from him all the other Gurus have come down to us. So, we should not forget God, who is the Adi Guru. If we think that God himself has come to us as Guru, then we need not have Guru Bhakti and Ishvara Bhakti separately. We can surrender ourselves to the one Guru who is none other than the Lord himself. We can become devoted to God, who is the purest of the pure and the worthiest of the worthy. We can get God's grace through our Guru. That is why it is said that the Guru is the Parabrahman, who is the chief for all the three, namely Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. There is no one greater for us than the Guru. We must have unflinching faith in the Guru, and our faith should be true faith. If we think and have faith that God Himself has come to us through this Guru, that itself will give us all blessings and help us to cross this samsara sagara. The Guru will pardon even our aparadha to God, but even God will not forgive our aparadha, that is the wrong done with the Guru. There is a sloka which runs like this: if God is angry, the Guru will save us, and if the Guru is angry, no one, not even the God, can save us. That is why our Shastras speak very highly about Guru Bhakti. No matter if we get a Guru who is not that supreme. We shall not go into the details about the Guru's person and his purity. Even if we have an ordinary Guru, we will have to do bhakti to the Guru, and that Guru Bhakti will transform into devotion to God, and we will get deliverance. By our devotion or bhakti, neither the Guru nor the God gets any gain, that is labha. It is we who gain by such an unflinching devotion. What is that benefit? Our mind becomes steady, and the Atma or soul will shine only in a steady mind. Our Shastras say that we need Guru Bhakti and Ishvara Bhakti only to steady our wavering mind. The Chandogya Upanishad declares that we get jnana or wisdom with the blessings of the Guru, and only that person who gets to an Acharya or a Guru gets wisdom or jnana. The Upadesha of Acharya or Guru releases one from the Maya that surrounds the world. We reach the Paramatman only with the Upadesha of Guru or Acharya. Adi Shankara, who is acclaimed as the Jagat Guru, lays emphasis on a person having Guru Bhakti. He asks, what is the use of a person who has not bound his mind with Acharya or Guru Bhakti? He repeats the same epithet Tatah Kim 4 times at the end of each of the 8 slokas in praise of the Guru, which is known as Guru Ashtakam. In the Brahmacharya Ashrama, which is the first among the 4 ashrams, a Brahmachari must go to the Grihastha Guru and learn Vedas and Dharma Shastras. That will initiate a person to Guru Bhakti. By learning the Vedas and Shastras from a Guru, a person gets chastity of mind, that is Chitta Suddhi. The seed of Guru Bhakti sown in the young mind of the Brahmachari gets strengthened throughout his life, right through the Grihastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha Ashrams, and prepares him for the Sannyasa Ashrama and leads him to the feet of the Paramatman, which is the supreme benefit. It is the Guru who prepares a sadhaka to attain moksha or deliverance at the end of his life. It is because of this Guru Bhakti is spoken of highly at all places and times in our scriptures. Periyava Sharanam.